Hey guys, so I made a little eBay purchase here. I've been looking around for a 4-jaw chuck for the South Bend lathe, and quite honestly, for a home shop, it's not in the budget, to pick up a domestically made one or one of the other higher quality. I had to end up going with one of these imports. So this is, I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. I think it's Sanou, S-A-N-O-U. This is their 6¼ inch, I think it is. It's the model K72 160, independent 4-jaw. I've already had it unboxed for a while. I'm sorry I didn't have the camera available when I was doing the unboxing. So a couple different vendors sell these. I was assuming that it was going to be a situation where it would require some work, once I got it, clean up, deburring, and those kind of things. But when I first got it, the packaging wasn't too bad, although the box had been opened probably by someone in the middle, either the wholesaler or the vendor themselves, and there is a small bit of damage right here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Sorry about that. I'll throw a still in there so you can see. A little bit of a nick, right here on the edge of the guide for one of the jaws. I contacted the company that I got it from, and we worked out a deal. They gave me part of a partial refund, and it's nothing that's going to affect the operation. I mean, once I deburr it, it'll be fine. So that was slightly disappointing, though. So the operation of the jaws, they were a little rough right out of the box. A lot of burrs and just grit and so forth in there. But it's fairly well made. So I think after just giving it a good cleaning and deburring, it'll be fine. I bought the version that came with a backing plate. You have to fit the backing plate, and I'm assuming that this is probably the backing plate they make for the 3-jaw that has different registers. And it came with instructions to basically mill off this entire register, mill it flat with the rest of the backing plate. And then the inner register here, I've got to take a little bit off to get it to fit the register on the back of the chuck. It's interesting, it has 3 mounting holes on the perimeter which don't line up with anything on this particular chuck, and then they've drilled additional mounting holes which line up perfectly to the actual mounting holes on the chuck. I've got to deburr them. Everything is pretty rough as far as the way they do the cleanup. Even the threads have a lot of burrs in them. I'm going to have to do some polishing on these threads. A little bit of dirt in there right now. And I've been test fitting them. I may have to do a little bit of lapping. They're a little tight in one spot, but perfectly usable. Once you do the cleanup on them. Came with the bolts. Standard import, metric bolts. So for the money, not bad. And since it's a 4-jaw, I'm not too worried about accuracy because you're going to be dialing your parts in anyways. Let's flip this over. So there's the back side. There's just some styrofoam there. There's no real depth here to this register, and I don't think it was intended to be a register. I mean, the center bore is the intentional register. I'm gonna have to knock these out. I want to get the screws all the way out and clean and deburr and polish everything. So I'll try to get some footage of that. And there's the name, the model number. There's the metric size. So far, I think the manufacturer is okay. We'll find out when we get it all fitted up here, but hopefully this will help anybody that's been looking at one of these and wondering what the quality is like. And it was just a total gamble on my part. There were only a few reviews that I could find, and they weren't very detailed as far as the quality of these. Okay, well, let me dive into a little farther and see what we got. Okay, so I got the 3-jaw off the lathe, ready for the next step. So off camera, I had to lap in this back plate, and I used my old spare spindle. So I've got this fitting pretty good now. Screws right on, mates up to the seating surface. Before it was getting stuck with about a 1/8 of an inch to go, and you can see where the lapping, it took a little off each side. That's why it's a good thing I had this spare spindle. And I don't know if you can see the color difference in here or not. That's like the first 4 threads. You can see where the lapping has cleaned those up, and a little bit on the relief area here. That was a little tight too. So anyways, got it fitting good now. So next step is to chuck this up on or screw this onto the spindle. I got to mill off this register, clean up the back a little bit, and then turn the center register to the final size. Okay, we're back here at the lathe, and here's the back plate. So let's check the fit. So far so good. All right, that'll work. Okay, now I've got to get set up to turn this. All right, well, here's my setup. So I'm getting ready to do a test cut. I don't have a good way to keep the camera out of the way, so let me take a test cut and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so I've been whittling away at this register here, and so far it's cutting pretty good, so let's keep going. Running in back gear. I don't have a tack. I'm guessing I'm somewhere around 50, 60 RPM. Get in a little, take a cut. Just feeding by hand. Alright guys, sorry about that. The camera cut off somewhere during that process. So anyways, we've got a clean cut all the way across the face, and we've got a small radius left on the center register, which will clean up when we turn that. So I'm going to change the setup, change to a different cutter, move things around a little bit, and we'll bring you back. Alright, so I noticed that there is a slight amount of run out on the circumference here, so I repositioned the tool. We're going to take just a very light cut just to clean up that run out. Alright, here we go. Okay, I'm handheld here, guys. So here's my setup. There's my cutter. It's got about maybe an 80-degree included angle. So I'll be able to get in there, and it's a very, you can't even see it, but it's a very small radius on the tip. Okay, and then the instruction sheet that came with the chuck says we need to turn the second shoulder down to 2.559, and I've been measuring. I measured several times the bore, and I came up with 2.55 8.5, and I used the telescope gauge. I didn't take a direct reading. So I agree with their instructions. A half thou interference fit, that sounds pretty good. So we're going to give that a shot. And this is going to be pretty tedious, so I'm just going to do this off camera, and then I'll bring you guys back and let you know how it works out. And I'll be test fitting with the chuck. I'm not going to rely on just measurements. Okay. Okay, so I'm still setting up this Sanou chuck. Got it mounted up to the backplate. Backplate's all machined. Everything that part went as expected. Everything worked out fine. Bolts line up good. No issues there. Ran the dial indicator around the circumference of the chuck, and it's within a half a thou. I mean, that's probably just turning the assembly by hand was enough to knock it off half a thou during my checkout. So I'm real happy with that. So, but we do have another problem. Let me zoom you in here. Okay, see if we can get this thing to focus. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, well, let's try it there. All right, so I've got a piece of 9/16 drill blank in here, which is, that's a precision blank. And I've got all four jaws tight, or snug, I should say. Not crank down, just making contact with a little bit of pressure. All right, now check this out. We got some major bell mouthing here. I'm gonna have to do some individual measurements jaw by jaw, but it seems to be every one of them. Maybe this one worse than the others. I'm not sure if this is showing up on camera, but I've actually got about a oh geez, a 32nd, maybe a 16th of an inch gap on the back side of the jaw compared to the front. Just ridiculous. All right, so we got our work cut out for us here. I'm going to try to get you in here with a different camera, see if I can show that a little better. Okay, let's see if you guys can see this. So jaws are tight. We're making contact up at the front here at the nose. And take a look at the back here. I can move this shaft, this piece of drill blank. So we have no movement, very little movement in the front here. And we're moving about, oh geez, at least a 32nd of an inch here in the back. That's just terrible. Let me tighten down a little bit more on this jaw. Okay. Still moving in and out. Okay. So, this jaw, this guy, seems to be the worst, but they're all bad. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure if Sanou has a US customer service number or not, but I'm going to give them a call tomorrow and tell them what's going on here and see what they'll do. I'm totally expecting nothing, dealing with a Chinese company. So I'll let you guys know. I'm going to try reversing these two jaws and see if the problem shifts to the other side. I measured the guideways and they seem to be consistent all the way around. So I'm thinking it's the jaw that's bad. But they're all bad. So anyways, I'll keep you guys posted. Anyways, so far these Sanou chucks look like they're garbage. Okay, see you later. So I flipped these jaws around right to left, and actually it has improved slightly. And I emphasize slightly. Okay, so I'm going to try some more jaw swapping and see if I can get this a little better. Okay, so we're back on this Sanou chuck with the brand new heavily bell-mouthed jaws. So I'm gonna have to grind them. I've tried contacting the manufacturer. They don't have a US office or phone number, customer service. I've emailed the China office, and I've gotten absolutely no response back. It's been a week and a half, nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and grind these jaws. I mean, I can make it workable. It's just, shouldn't have to do this on a brand new chuck. So anyways, what I've done is I've numbered all the jaw slots, and I've numbered the jaws. They are stamped, which doesn't show up very good because they're hardened material. I may come back with an engraving pencil and engrave them in. So I've got to make some wedge blocks. We're going to put some wedge blocks in here. I'm going to grind one jaw at a time. So let me get those made up, and we'll come back and start the grinding. Okay guys, we're over here at the mill. I'm going to make a couple wedge blocks. Just got a piece of 1/2 inch aluminum. Already got it sitting on a parallel. I've already touched off. Just going to take off 20 thousandths to get started here. Okay, I don't want to bore everybody. Let me get this down to the layout line, and then we'll be back. All right, good enough. Let me get it out of here and cut it in half, and I'll meet you back at the lathe. Okay, so I brought you around to the back side of the lathe here. So I've got my tool post grinder set up. It's already squared up, indicated in. I've got a diamond point dresser here. We're just going to dress the wheel off. Got everything covered with towels, so we're good to go. All right, let's go ahead and dress this thing. Alright, hopefully you guys can see that okay. So we're starting out on the number 1 jaw here, and we're going to grind these one at a time. So I'm just getting the jaw close. Actually, what I want to do is try to get close to the center here. Not bad. Okay. Let me back that one back out. Okay, so the idea here, at least the plan, is to grind one jaw at a time. Okay, that's close. Maybe a little too close. Okay, there we go. So I want to have inward force on the jaw that we're grinding. So I've got these wedge blocks, or actually they're just square blocks, made up. 2 sides are machined parallel. So this is our jaw we're grinding. So I'm going to set the wedge block in here. Let's try it right about there. Okay, and let's try the other one. Okay, I want to do the final tightening with the jaw that we're grinding. Okay, there we go, jaw number 1. Let me just see how much clearance. Okay, so we've got, on the number 2 jaw here, we've got about 3/16 clearance. And on the number 1 jaw, we've got about an 1/8 inch clearance and about 3/16. Uh-oh, there's a problem. Let's see what happened here. Okay, Try that again. Alright, so if I bring our wheel or grinder out, we're almost making contact. I've still got good clearance on the number 2 jaw and the number 4 jaw and the number 3 jaw. Okay. Alright, let me back this out. And let's figure out what RPM we want here. That's probably fast. I'll go a little faster. That's probably plenty fast. All right, well, here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's try a pass with no feed. Oh, hold on. Got to adjust my towels here. We're gonna suck the towel in. We don't want that. Okay. Now let's just do a test feed. Make sure I can get all the way past the last jaw and not drag on anything here. So, okay, so I can't go any deeper than right there, and that's plenty deep. Okay, all right, let's try it again. Let's take a look, see where we're at. Okay, number 1 jaw. Okay. Okay, so I've got the jaws reground, and I've got a piece of 9/16 drill blank chucked up. I've already indicated it in, and let me show you where we're at here. So we're within a thou. Maybe a hair less than a thou. Depends. I'm trying not to put any side pressure on the chuck while I'm turning it by hand here. So anyways, I like that. Okay, and that's in here tight next to the jaws. Now let me reposition out on the end here, and we'll take a look out there. Okay, I got the indicator moved out here to the end. And let's zoom in here. Okay, so here we go, rotating. So we've got, looks like about a thou total. All right, I'm happy with that. So I think we're going to call this done. So anyways, after regrinding, seems okay. I've still got to do some more testing. I'm going to try a larger rod, see what happens. And I'm going to have to flip these jaws over and grind the other surfaces as well. Okay, anyway, so I think this is going to be a wrap. I'm going to put a fork in it and call it done. Alrighty guys, catch you on the next one. Okay, back with you, checking it with a piece of 1-inch chrome in here. We're out on the end. So what do we got? Maybe 1.5 thou. Now this shaft is a little beat up, so it may have a little run out. Okay, but that's not too bad. All right, let me move the indicator here and see if I can do this with one hand. Get back in here. And I'm not going to bother to zero it here, but okay, not bad. All right, well, I'm going to call this good. Now I've got to pull this chuck off and thoroughly clean it, because and the entire lathe, because I've got grinding dust all over. And there's the tool post grinder again, so I got to pull that off. But anyways, I'm happy. At least I got a 4-jaw chuck that's usable now. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.